Peace. This is your brother, the lone load life with the home soul garment, the Boricua with the build, the true and living God, stepping in score, Sunez, aka Skillustrator, your host for the Dug Down Dive, where I'm going to take you back in time through the Dug Down catalog for musical appreciation of select LP devastation. For this session at the Doghouse, we're going to visit the debut album from O.G.C. Original Gun Clappers, The Storm. Clearly the underrated members of the Boot Camp Clique, they are also the members that give the crew its enormous depth. Boot Camp Clique, unlike other legendary crews as Wu-Tang Clan or Hieroglyphics that are composed of solo MCs and groups uniting into a supergroup, BCC is really made up of groups that become a larger Voltron group. Then these groups splinter back into strong solo acts as Sean Price, Rock, Buckshot, Tech, Steel. Anyway, these sessions are really for retrospect, and it's understandable how this record is a sleeper crate because 1996 is one of the greatest years in recorded hip-hop music. I like to preface and say that I consider the strength of any genre based on its depth of quality, so the lyric and musical peaks of Iron Man, Atlians, Hell on Earth, and Illadelph Half-Life are necessary, but the exceptional displays of skill, technique, and sound craftsmanship throughout the genre's world is what sustains it. It needs more, it has to have a lot. The Boot Camp Clique, and their works really developed a thick bass lines, sharp snapping drum, and minimalist orchestra from Helter Skelter's Nocturnal, released also that year, and it's all over The Storm. The sound is one about perfected addiction, the epitome of boom bap, a word that I've always used and will continue to use to describe hip hop that is done with expert craftsmanship, the type you gotta really listen to so you can get the depth of diverse magnificence. Throughout The Storm, there's the simple organ note, re-up and horn and X Unknown, the slight piano keys in the distance on Elite Fleet, or the extremely faint chime on Hurricane Starang as examples. The minimalism is extreme and the drums and bass are amplified. From documented thousands of hours in my own personal recording experience, to me the more prominent the drum working is, the harder it is to MC on it. Now we're spoiled by this with O.G.C. and most of the entire boot camp. They may, out of all of the boot camp, they may be the most dexterous MCs of the clique when we speak of speed, breathlessness, and melody development in the layering of the rhyme. The entire The Storm is an MC clinic. While all the tracks are minimalist, as I said, not all drums are the same. On the aforementioned Hurricane Starang, the song is sparse in the mid-tempo drum, all unified by a bass line that never stops its consistent smooth grumble. We may not hear how skilled it is to say lines of Starang flowing off the relay rhyme handoff from Helter Skelter's Rock when he says, MP Rock, please prepare my ship for departure, beat these young boys' ass and make them run and get their father. Now, the second line is a crowded bar that's delivered perfectly spaced and united by a near rhyme of departure and father. Starang does this throughout in his vocal accenting allows him to near rhyme anything from with ass, force with exhaust. One of the reasons Starang's solo is so dynamic is that Rock's baritone, able to stretch notes for epic effect, amplifies Starang's speedy intensity, and because he's rhyming at a faster speed than necessary on this mid-tempo track. So throughout the verses there, his verses there are subtle speed ups and slowdowns that allow for bar crowding, but we hear it as inflection points emphasizing punchlines. The internals are even done with near rhymes, as I be rubbishing any crew that claims they be bubbling, get that ass capped like them niggas when they handle in my publishing. Here, handling isn't the bar, but it serves as a near rhyme that adds layering of similar sounding. Also, O.G.C. aren't yelling MCs, yet they energize the songs powerfully because they reach chanting keys on their verses. Listen to the way Top Dog leads the verses I'm flapping with. I'm pulling the evidence from y'all faking ass residents who claim that y'all community's clean and come from heaven sent. You're best to get out of my face with all that yapping I told you about, the flapping about shit that can't happen. Whereas pausing into up and down pitches here give it a patois chant quality. Then Calm Before the Storm, where Top Dog goes for a more crowded, meaning less space flow with a very low tone emphasis attaching more sinister to Shalik's already waving currents of bass notes. So we go slow, Top Dog, to nice up your party. Then crowds, tell everybody to leave they shoddy, shake their body. Those two lines aren't supposed to work. They're too hard to deliver, and yet it's nothing for them. Then there's Louisville Slugger, who's the most overt and crowd in the bar because he has the most monotone drone flowing addiction. On No Fear, he brilliantly rhymes off of the hook and dives us in. Louisville, no fear, we shed no tears. Dare you to come near, bury that ass. Starts it off slowly in the conversational tone, then revs it up to I pull bats, cock back, release then smash. Niggas stuck on stupid, OD'd off Cupid, bitches and switches, and strictly how they'd have to do it. It's continuing on and on through the verse. Impeccable text. There's also something to be said at how great the arrangements are. The aforementioned Hurricane Starang with Rock, the exceptional feature with Sadat X and Sean Black and Wild Cowboys of Bucktown. Sadat, peace to the God. Another MC with a great sleeper LP of 96 Wild Cowboys. The arrangements have the 3 O.G.C members having 2 verses. Sadat with 3 and the hook, along with a Sean Black verse. I've never heard a song with this kind of format, and it's on just over 4 minutes. The album is such a flurry of techniques, and the quality of production is really one of the many standard bearers for what great boom bap is. The way Baby Paul's sandy hi-hats on the swirling wind set up the vibe for Louisville to dive in. Tired of fuck, just woke up, what's going on? Or Mr. Walt's chime clanging notes tumbling on a gun clap over the descending bass melody. DJ Evil D's high bing bell dings on a double slap drum on the title cut. Or DJ O.G.'s strum guitar on a thick, slightly off-beat break with a tisking underdrumming on Wild Cowboys in Bucktown. The music is really, really the epitome of the BCC sound. All this excellence, it must be noted that the controversy of the album was Starang Wonder saying, I scare petty MCs who claim they got gats fronting with hoes and videos with pimp hats, but the fact still remains that you're just a stain on the bottom of my boots while I'm still Starang. On the video single No Fear, where they showed a cat that clearly was going to be seen, and it was seen as a Biggie lookalike. I note all this because the real controversy for me is that a vivid and biting commentary of what they disagree with was going to be said, even as other BCC members were peace with Biggie. I note this also because the recent dismissal of commemorating Biggie's incredible career without notes on the commercialism he furthered under the guise of Puffy was real and is important to note. The most purest forms of hip-hop have always been responsible for this type of commentary to expose, critique, and even blatantly disagree with it. O.G.C wasn't alone with this, as J. Rooted Damages One Day and The Roots What They Do, both also from 96, had these criticism darts. In total retrospect, it ought to remind us of the achieved integrity and purity that O.G.C succeeded with here. They were critical of what this hip-hop ought to be, but they also showed and proved what it should sound like exceptionally. Peace to original gun clappers Top Dog, Louisville Slugger, and Starang Wonder, as well as the MCs and producers on The Storm. Peace to Duck Down Music, and if there's any album you'd like to hear me build on, let us know in the comments. Until next time, I'm Sunez, aka Skillet Straight or Low, and this has been another Never Respect Fake broadcast. Peace.